not prepared.
The World of Warcraft. How many superlatives can we pile on this game? It changed MMOs forever, helped revitalize PC gaming, and moved Blizzard from being a decently profitable studio to becoming one of the biggest developers in the industry today. Despite what you may think of WoW, there's no denying what it is, or arguably what it was. A multi-million-dollar machine that broke the niche market of MMOs into a full-fledged phenomena that brought out all the Me Too games hoping to be the next big thing. But they never were. Some had the numbers, others the cash, but none ever had the clout of WoW. It seems there's only one true king, for now.
No king rules forever, my son.
But this isn't about how good WoW is, or how bad, or how it went downhill after Cataclysm, or how Wrath of the Lich King was the best expansion, or the Burning Crusade, or how the game has been easy mode since vanilla ended. By the way, I don't believe any of those things. Except maybe the Burning Crusade part. Regardless, this video isn't to discuss the technical merits of World of Warcraft, the game. We're here to answer this question. Is the World of Warcraft immersive? This, of course, requires some form of grading system. Since I'm all about the data and the numbers, even when it comes to even the most intangible qualities of emotion and immersion. So, we're going to break down the various aspects of spatial awareness and see how WoW rates in them.
And now, on with the show!
Sight and sound. There's no doubting the game here. While it did lag behind newer games in terms of poly counts and special effects, the Blizzard art team has always gotten more than the best out of a very old engine, with steady improvements over the years, most noticeably in the PC model overhauls in Warlords of Draenor and the breathtaking vistas of Mists of Pandaria. There's little to complain about here. Always the forgotten aspect of gaming, the soundtrack is top-notch. From simple sound effects to exciting spell audio, WoW is solid again. And while I usually recommend turning off in-game music for immersion reasons, WoW's soundtracks are usually better than movie quality. The Wrath of the Lich King soundtrack might be the best gaming music ever assembled. It doesn't draw you out of the moment, it enhances it. Completeness of sensory information, behavior, and interaction. This is where WoW comes up a bit short. To be fair, this is where almost every MMO is going to come up short. Completeness of sensory information is basically the lack of abstract entities or contrary events, and WoW's full of them. Respawning monsters, obvious pop culture references, Harris Pilton, anyone? And players dressed like colorful clowns doing random things. MMOs just can't shake these distractions. I mean, you kill the baddest man in the universe every week, right? Behavior and interaction are in similar boats here. While the world seems alive, it quickly becomes apparent that the NPCs in the world don't really do much. In fact, most just stand in one place and never move. Ever. And interaction is more of a novelty than a feature. You can sit in a chair. I mean, you could totally flip a table too, but I'm not sure that's what we're looking for here. All of these aspects in this category are meant to keep the mind engaged and prevent it from realizing you're playing a game. WoW never really tries too hard to do that though, and it slides down a bit here. Narrative and plot. Blizzard gets high marks here. Not top, but high. There are great moments in the Warcraft story. The rise and fall of the Lich King, though I will always consider Ner'zhul the one true Lich King. The tragedy of the Pandaren people, and don't forget those great cinematics. Not many MMOs top moments like this.
You confront a force beyond reckoning.
Your father dabbled in powers beyond reckoning. Where is he now?
WoW should be commended on the progression of its lore. For what started out as D&D Light, it evolved to Tolkien on steroids, and then into its own well-polished mythos after a while. The Orcs of Draenor, Arthas and Sylvanas, the Night Elves and the Trolls. There's a great history to the game now. Still, WoW falls victim to some cheesy moments, lazy writings, and character favoritism. The tale of Garrosh Hellscream could have been great, but was dragged out for a little too long and went over the top at the end. And it's no secret the Horde has had the lion's share of the story. The Alliance really hasn't had interesting moments since the time of Anduin Lothar and Medivh, well before the start of WoW's timeline.
Are you sure about that?
Presentation of the world. Presentation of the world covers two major aspects: how the world is portrayed in-game, like the maps, zones, cities, etc., and how the game presents the world to you in terms of loading screens, visual cues, and the UI. And here we have two wildly different sides. The world itself is mostly seamless, save for the odd loading screen, entering a dungeon, crossing continents. Thanks to the Cataclysm update, the world is also fairly complete, top to bottom, allowing players to fly and explore almost every inch of the map. The towns make sense, in their Warcrafty ways. Even though everything does have that stylized, cartoony look, it isn't so over the top as to draw you out of the game. The game is weather, but nothing attention-grabbing, and there are day and night cycles, but as MMOs do, the nights aren't very dark. That matters. Still, so far, so good, or not terrible. Then we get to the UI, which is uninspired at best, clunky, and dated at the worst. The ability to mod the UI generally can make this better, or often worse. To be fair, most of the UI mods are very important and useful for general WoW gameplay, like raids and PvP, but from a purely immersive perspective, they're obtrusive, flashy, and scream video game. There are some minimalist UIs, but if you go too far in removing windows, the game gets harder to play. Of course, you can just remove the UI with the hotkey, but good luck doing anything. As for gameplay, it's not hard to find a UI that works. For immersion, not much seems to work. But there are things you can do to help, like taking display names off. It's a start. Character options. Unsurprisingly, this category covers the options you have in character design, Flash character creation, and how they are presented. The more options you have, the easier it is to be immersed, to a degree. Advanced games go as far as to have pre-recorded voices and dialogue for your characters, which sounds great on paper, or aloud, but can actually take away from your connection in some cases. Thankfully, World of Warcraft keeps the dialogue to a minimum and offers some variety in character creation. Sex, race, class, the usual, are available. There's some customization to appearance, but it's fairly limited in comparison to today's games. The naming scheme is light as well. One name, though there are optional titles. WoW presents the character in the third person, which is it's great for situational awareness in gameplay and being able to see your new shoulder armor, but can sometimes detract from immersion, depending on your perspective. All in all, nothing flashy here, but no huge letdowns. Role-playing. For the sake of immersion, this category can be meaningless, or it can mean everything. That's because there are different immersive perspectives. The most common, and often the most rewarding, is the "this is me, in the game" perspective. Simple enough, this is the one where the player believes they're actually in the game world. The less common but more creative version is the role-playing perspective, where you have created this character and are experiencing the game through their eyes, adhering to their personality that you've created. Maybe your first reaction is to kill all those bandits, but perhaps your character sees it differently. That sort of thing. If role-playing does interest you, if you want to see the world not as Brad the Druid, but as Baron Windhorn, Tauren Hunter, then WoW actually has some appeal. With mods like Mogget, My Roleplay, Griffin Heart, and Total RP, the game has some of the most robust community RP support in MMOs. It also has RP servers, which are kind of a rare thing in MMOs these days, sadly. I'm not sure what the good Euro RP server is, but Wormrest Accord in North America is one of the best RP communities I've found in any MMO. But avoid Goldshire. The intangibles. The intangibles cover certain qualities of immersion that might be unique to the genre, or even to this particular game. I suppose WoW has two major ones: the community mod support and Blizzard itself. As the mods go, it's only positive, from the ones mentioned above to the thousands more that will enhance your game. Remember the UI issues we mentioned? There are more than a few light UI mods available, and some that will actually make most of your windows fade outside of combat. Whatever you're looking for, it's probably out there, somewhere. With some diligent searching, you've got a good chance to find something to enhance your immersion. And if you know some good ones, hey, share them. As for Blizzard itself, they're a mixed bag when it comes to popular opinion, but from a purely immersive perspective, they actually haven't hurt their game that much. It gets prettier with every expansion, and larger. And if you're into role-playing as well, knowing that Blizzard is bankrolling the game makes it a bit safer to commit long-term, compared to some other MMOs which have disappeared. And while Blizzard will likely never offer the same level of RP support that Lord of the Rings Online enjoys, they've given players a robust world to play in, with strong yet simple lore to tackle. So despite what you think of their gameplay choices, the world itself seems alright. Final score. I found the score interesting considering how poorly World of Warcraft fared in the categories I weighted the heaviest, that being completeness of sensory information and presentation of the world. The fact that the game is very strong in the other areas led to a respectable final score. I thought at best it was going to hit a C or a C+, so there you go. But what does this actually mean? Essentially, if you can look past the obvious MMO mechanics, somewhat static NPCs, old UI, respawning foes and stylized graphics, you'll find a huge world with a strong story and a very healthy role-playing community. WoW doesn't support the me in this game style of immersion that well, but it is an excellent venue for RP, exploration, and adventure. Other MMOs may do these things a bit better, but no one does it bigger than Blizzard. But this is just like my opinion, man. So what's yours? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there things I missed? Maybe you know a great RP mod or another strong RP server. Feel free to respond and keep this conversation going. Next time on Immersion Gaming, we're going to talk about role-playing, why it's so important, and surprisingly, when it's not important at all. Until then, this has been Josh from 1047, hoping you're getting the very best out of your games, and we'll see you next time.
Now, go. Leave this place and never return.